All right, so what we have here is a residential solar system. It's comprised of solar panels up on the roof. They connect through to these inverters, and the inverters then convert that solar power to either AC power to the house or to DC power to charge the batteries. These are the batteries. These two here are big fuses which connect the batteries to the inverter. And then the solar panels come in up here. Eskom comes into here, and then the inverters feed the inverters, and the inverters feed back to here, which feeds the house. So this device is an inverter. You might ask, what is an inverter? An inverter is a device that takes DC power, so provided by solar panels or from a battery, and converts it to AC, which you can use in your house. So it'll take, in the case of the batteries, 48 volt DC and convert that to 230 volts AC. And in the panels, depending on how many panels you've got, it could be up to 380 volts DC. And once again, converts that to AC, which can be used by the house. And that's all an inverter is, what it does. This system, we've got two inverters, and the reason for that is you have two 5 kilowatt inverters. They work in parallel to create a 10 kilowatt feed. So it can carry more power, higher load. The reason we did two instead of one bigger inverter is that actually the two of them cost less together than one 10 kilowatt inverter. So we use these, and you can actually connect up to, I think, 6 of them. So you could go up to 30 kilowatts, it's quite a lot. In fact, might even be up to 10 of them. But I mean, 10 kilowatts is pretty close to what your Eskom feed is. Most houses have a 60 amp feed, which is about 13 kilowatts. So 10 kilowatts, you can run just about your whole house on that. Whereas a 5 kilowatt system, you'd only run smaller things, like your lights or TV or smaller appliances. You wouldn't go and add other heavy things on. But this can run just about everything. So these inverters are Luxpower, what they call hybrid inverters, which means that they use battery and they can send power back to Eskom. The reason we use them is that they're really well priced, and they've got very nice features. So one of the things we like most about them is that you can manage them remotely. So from the web interface, you can change all the settings, you can update the firmware, you can do anything like that. And you can obviously see what's happening. So I can scan a web page and see all of my clients, see if their inverters are up, if they're working properly, all that kind of thing. You can also even reset it from remotely. So if we need to do that. The downside of these is that they've got fans, which obviously suck air in, but they do have little filters here at the bottom, which generally keeps dust and bigger stuff like that out. Some of the more expensive hybrid inverters don't have fans. They've got big heat sinks at the back, but then they tend to be about 2 or 3 times the price. So it's a cost benefit. Is it worth the extra money or not? I think if you've got a nice environment like this, it's clean, these are fine. There's lots and lots of different types of inverters in the market, but we found that these are really stable, they're robust, and we've had good experience with them. So these are the batteries. In this house, there's 2 of them. Both of these are 5 kilowatt hour batteries, so combined they'll give you 10 kilowatt hours. They're lithium ion batteries, which are the kind of highest power size ratio that you can get at the moment. I mean, if this kind of power in lead acid batteries would be about 10 times the size and 10 times the weight. So these are much lighter, much more powerful. They're also pretty safe. Nowadays, they all come with a BMS, which is a battery management system that manages the batteries, make sure they don't overheat, which I think is very important with lithium ion. And they should last for about 10 years or longer. I think the warranty is 10 years, so the battery should last up to 15 years. Whereas lead acid at the moment is lasting about a year without load shedding. So yeah, quite a bit longer. So although the battery itself is more expensive, if you consider how many times you'd have to replace the lead acid, they're actually quite cheap. So you can update the software and things like that, the firmware through the Wi-Fi, and you can monitor the different cell voltages if you want to. The inverters also have Wi-Fi, which is through these dongles here with the 3 lights. If the 3 lights are working, it means it's connected to the internet and it's sending data through to the servers. The servers are in China, but we also have an app on our phone which we can view that information, and so does the customer get that. So this AC input DB, or distribution board, is where the supply comes in from the main feed of the house, comes into here. This provides power to the inverter, and then power from the inverter comes back to this breaker here. When it's in the down position, you see it's labeled inverter. That means the inverters are supplying power to your house. It's a 3-way switch, so if we put it to the middle position, you'll see the power will go off. Okay, so that's off, so no power is going to the house. If we push it up to the top where it says bypass, the house has now been powered by Eskom, bypassing the inverters. So if you, for some reason, you can't recover them, they still got a fault light or they stop working, you can push this back up to bypass and you're on Eskom as if you don't have the inverters. And that's kind of a belt and suspenders approach. And then you can phone us and we'll try to figure out what happened. So this is the main incoming feed for the house. We've put a breaker in here which supplies power to the sub DB and in turn to the inverters. And then this main switch here takes power from the inverters and sends it to the main DB in the house. And that's where all the lights and plugs and things like that are on. And if you turn this off, then those will obviously all go off.